Hello, and welcome to Olio. My name is Elijah, and today I have a very caffeinated subject to talk about today. I apologize for that lighting shift if you're watching the video stream. Today is a gorgeous day outside, let me tell you. It is beautiful, and it makes me feel so motivated and happy and I don't know, just ready for the day. You know what I mean? Something about the nice warm weather. It rained a little bit yesterday here, so the humidity that was here yesterday is gone, and now it's just not too hot, not too cold, partly cloudy. So the sun's coming in and out, peeking in and out. It's not humid, and it's kind of the best. So yeah, that's why the lighting is wildly inconsistent today. Before we jump into the subject, I want to chat a little bit about what's going on for me in my life, as I like to do, to kind of ease us into today a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but this summer for me has been busy. Something about trying to figure out how to balance your work and everything with your play, free time in the summer is difficult, especially when it's nice weather, and kind of every day I'd prefer be out by the lake or the beach. You can't always do that. You got to work as well, but I don't know. I feel like it was different when I was younger, when I was in high school or something, because you just had more time at your disposal to do those kind of things, and it wasn't so big of a, work wasn't so big of a necessity then. Anyways, so it's been busy. Today I'm doing the podcast. I'm editing tomorrow's video right when I wrap up the podcast today. I'm preparing for a gig I have tomorrow, which is really cool. I'm playing at some music at a new restaurant that's opening nearby, and I'm so excited for that. I really hope it goes well. If there are some videos or things, I'll probably share them online somewhere so you can take a peek if you're interested. And then tonight I have work at the restaurant that I work at. So yeah, jam-packed day. And how do I start a jam-packed day like today? Almost every time I have something busy going on with this right here, which actually, this is a really cool mug. It says "Be Happy" on it. I don't know if you can see that on the live stream. It says "Be Happy." It's a picture of a honeycomb, not a honeycomb, a beehive. And I got my mom a matching one for Mother's Day. I forget what hers says, but it's something like "Be Happy" or honey, something like that, something with the bee in it. And this is a mug filled with coffee. Black coffee. I just made it in my Keurig, just a little K-cup, throw it in there, some black coffee. And this is how I start most days, with a cup of coffee. And I'm going to be sipping on it throughout this podcast unapologetically because, I don't know. So, as I've been figuring out that I start to do this every single day, I'm trying to figure out my relationship with caffeine and how I want to consume caffeine and the things that it does to me, how it affects me, how it affects my day, and all these different things. Because for a while, for years, I didn't drink coffee at all. Folks who've known me for a while would know that I really I just didn't drink coffee. And I was very much all into tea. I still love tea, but I didn't drink coffee at all because it gave my stomach a lot of issues. So yeah. Probably within the last year, probably about a year ago, I would say. It's probably when I started easing back into drinking coffee every now and again during last summer, because I like the way it tastes. Actually, I love the way coffee tastes. I love black coffee, or even like a dark roast black or a cold brew black, something like that from Dunkin's is just so good. I love black coffee like that, but I also love the super sugary stuff. So like a caramel macchiato, or like, you know, a I don't even know what else there is. I always get macchiatos. or some other kinds of flavored coffee and things like that you get from Dunkin's, especially, is my go-to. Oh, my mom says that the matching mug she has says "Be kind," BEE, kind, like a bee. I love that. Be happy and be kind. There it is. So I've started easing back into it probably in the last year or so, and now I've come to a point where I'm drinking coffee pretty much every day, and thus drinking caffeine pretty much every single day. And I'm figuring out that it does some interesting things to me, as it does for everyone, right? But I don't know. If you're somebody who drinks energy drinks, I see in chat William saying you don't drink coffee, so you don't relate to that. Not everyone does, but for me, caffeine is the one thing that I drink or that I intake that's one of those weird, like, body modifiers, or I don't know what it's called. It affects your body physically. I don't participate in drinking alcohol. I'm not 21. I'm not just saying that like, oh, I'm under 21, so I don't drink. No, like, I actually genuinely don't. Never been like a party type of person, so I don't drink. I don't smoke anything. It's just not really my thing. That being said, I've never tried, so maybe one day I will. Actually, probably one day I will. But caffeine is like the one thing that I drink, and it does different things to my body. And some of the things are really good, some of them not so good. So firstly, when I drink coffee or caffeine, obviously, for me, it's very effective. I don't know if it's because I'm kind of a skinny, like, smaller guy, if that's why it affects me so much. But if I drink coffee like that, like I take a sip of coffee or I drink a cup of coffee, like, it'll hit me for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be energized for the rest of the day, and you can feel it for the rest of the day. And I've figured out that because of that, I have to drink coffee really slowly. Because I don't know. It's just, I think it's because I'm smaller and I have to drink coffee slowly, because if I drink a whole ton at once, I will like explode. Like, my anxiety with the caffeine just like shoots me through the roof, and I explode. It's pretty rough. I've done that a few times, and that's part of the figuring out my relationship with caffeine that I've had to really, go in and think about, because literally there are a few times I've had a few friends who have been with me. Particularly, I have one story I'll tell you after I take a sip of my coffee here. It's really good, let me tell you. But the story, probably the biggest time when this happened, and when it seems obvious, honestly, but I didn't realize it. When I was in college, this was the last semester, or the fall of 2021 semester. That was the semester of college that I did in person. If you saw any of my YouTube videos or things that were done from the school, that was the only time I was there. It was just one semester. But anyways, I was hanging out with friends. There were, I think, like three other friends of mine, and we stayed up super late to build. And if any of you guys are watching, hi, who I'm telling this story about, you know who you are. We were building the Lego Millennium Falcon, which, by the way, was very cool. I must tell you, like, the Millennium Falcon was this huge Lego ship, probably the biggest Lego set I've ever done. We started building it at like 9 at night, which wasn't really smart of us, because I think it was going to be the weekend, so that's why we did it. But still, like, we didn't think it was going to take that long. We're building the Millennium Falcon, this big thing. The four of us, all of us are like starting to fall asleep. We're hanging out in one of our friends' rooms, and we're all huddled around like in the pitch black with like one lamp. That's like, as we're all putting the Millennium Falcon together, we're all falling asleep. We're all new friends too. We'd only met a few months prior. And so, anyways, it comes to the point where we're finally finishing the stupid Millennium Falcon, and it was probably, I don't know, I bet I have a photo somewhere. It was probably like 4 in the morning, maybe even 5. Like it was in the morning, like really in the morning. And we were exhausted. But it comes to a certain point during the night like that where I wasn't sure if I was going to fall asleep and then have to wake up later or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's 5 in the morning. So I'm like, do I go to bed? Like I have stuff to do tomorrow. One way or another, I decided not to go to bed. Bad decision, by the way. All-nighters, that's the first time I've done an all-nighter in years like that. I have not done one since I was like really, really young. And even when I did, oh my gosh, I feel terrible. I am not a person who can ever do an all-nighter. If anyone wants to hang out with me, like, you know, we do a thing, just don't do an all-nighter. I can't do an all-nighter. Maybe it's because I'm like an old soul or something. I need sleep. Like, I really do. William says, I've done that before. I don't recommend it either. Yeah. No, it was really bad. The all-nighter, like, beat me up. Anyways, I wake up the next day and... Well, I not wake up. I get up the next day because after 5 a.m., you know, all my friends, I think some of them did go to sleep, so we all went back to our own rooms. And I talked to one of my friends, and we're like, oh, hey, we should go get breakfast somewhere, like, you know, before the day starts because we're already up, so might as well just, like, go get some breakfast to start the day off right, you know? So... before breakfast, mind you, it's super early in the morning. It's probably like 6 or 7. A few hours after we finished the Millennium Falcon. Me and this one friend, I had one of those Dunkin's coffees in my fridge. You know, the little plastic bottles that are like already the iced, creamy, like coffee stuff. I drink that because I'm like, oh, I need some coffee, maybe some caffeine. And this is when I was still kind of easing into caffeine. I hadn't had a ton before. Anyways. I drink the coffee. I get in the car with her, and she's driving me to go get breakfast. And we're in the car, and I'm already starting to feel like weird. I'm also somebody who gets kind of motion sick. So motion sick combined with the coffee, the caffeine, and a little bit of anxiety, all this together, and being completely sleep deprived, not having slept at all. I'm in the car, in the passenger seat, and I was starting to feel awful. I don't know what it was. I just drank that whole coffee, and I had nothing in my stomach either. I was hungry. I hadn't eaten since dinner the previous day. So I start shaking, and I'm sweating, and I can feel a panic attack coming. And normally when I feel a panic attack coming, it's not a rare thing for me. I have that kind of thing happen where you start to feel, you know, maybe you start to sweat or you start to shake. Unrelated. I see in the chat, Hayes Mays. What's up, Hayes? How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I started to sweat. I started to shake, and I was like, oh, this is a panic attack. Like I know this well now. I've started to find the signs of a panic attack so I can take the proper steps internally to help mitigate it, right? And hopefully make it not get into full swing. So I'm feeling the panic attack come on. I don't say anything to my friend because we're new friends and I didn't want to, like, I just didn't feel like I needed to. So most of the time when that kind of thing happens to me, I can take it in, deal with it, and we're good. And half the time nobody even knows. By the time we get to the breakfast place, mind you, it's probably like a 20-minute drive, not super far. We get there, and it's a little bit of a walk to the place. I remember I step out of the car, and I tell my friend, I'm like, hey, I don't feel good right now. I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I remember having trouble talking, and I was shaking, and she was like, oh my God, like, yeah, you look awful. And I was like, yeah, I'm having a panic attack. Like, I need to sit down and I need to figure this out. And it'll just be a few minutes. I promise. I'm sorry that you have to wait. And of course inside. I shouldn't have felt this way, but I felt awkward because again, it's a new friend and now I'm having a panic attack and I want to go eat breakfast, all this stuff. So I sit outside of the car on a bench and I put my earbuds in and I'm trying to do all my breathing techniques. I'm trying to, do some tapping, which is something I learned in therapy that actually helps me out. And that's where you can Google it if you want, but you kind of tap different parts of your body that help trigger certain. I don't know the science behind it. It helps calm you down. You tap certain parts of your body in like repetitive patterns and things like that. So I'm doing all my tapping. I'm doing all my breathing exercises. I'm starting to shake more and more and more, and I'm having a hard time breathing. Like I felt like I was going to pass out. It was starting to turn into a full-scale panic attack. I had my earbuds in. I even tried doing like a headspace meditate, like a calm thing, and nothing was working. And I was like, oh my God, like nothing was working to calm me down. I could not calm down. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't even have my car with me. I was in a friend's car who I'd barely known at this point. And I was just out in the middle of town, sitting on a bench, shaking like a leaf. And I couldn't calm myself down. And then I realized it's the caffeine. It's totally the caffeine because I was exhausted, but yet I had so much energy and I was shaking like crazy. Must have been me being way too overtired, and then having caffeine like that just made like the worst possible reaction. So now I'm out here and my thought is, and I'm on an empty stomach. So I'm like, okay, I tell my friend, I'm like, hey, I still don't feel good. Nothing changed, by the way. I'm still feel awful, but we should go get breakfast anyways because we're here and maybe it'll help me. And I remember that was like the worst breakfast experience I ever had because I didn't, like I took 2 bites. I thought I was going to eat a bite of, I don't know, bacon or something. It was a very delicious breakfast place. I've been there a few times. I love the place. Really cute little breakfast place. Anyways, I felt I was going to take a bite of something and like throw up or like pass out. It was terrible. And I went to the bathroom a few times and I splashed water all over me, freaking cold water all over me because I just felt terrible. And I'm trying to like shake it. I couldn't do anything. So, and at this point, my friend knows obviously because we're talking, but she was very good about it, trying to calm me down, be quiet. Ugh, it was just rough. And I couldn't do anything to calm myself down. And, before we even got to go home, I had to sit outside on another bench again for like another half an hour to the point where I could now say, okay, we can drive home now, drive me back to school, to the dorms. And I probably won't vomit all over your car. At least I don't think so. So it was terrible. It was terrible. That is like the one experience I remember. I got home, I went to sleep, but like it wasn't a very restful sleep. It took the whole rest of the day for that caffeine to wear off and the panic to wear off. And by the end of that day, I was exhausted. I was exhausted. And so it was at that point where I'm like, okay, in my head, I'm going, I am never, ever, 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 ever going to drink caffeine again. I'm never going to do that. Because in my head, I'm like, well, look at what it just did. Now I'm realizing, I obviously, here's some coffee right now. So it didn't stay that way. But I figured out some of the different rules that I have to put in place to make my relationship with caffeine, with coffee, whatever, effective. First of all, it can't make me... I can't drink coffee to make a tired me become an energized me. AKA, I shouldn't drink coffee when I'm tired. If I drink coffee when I'm tired, every time I've done it, it manifests in some sort of anxiety, panic, because I'm an anxious person. So those kind of things, those tendencies come up first before any of the benefits of it would. So I have to be careful about that. However, I can drink it when I feel awake and energized, and it'll make me probably more so, and just the right amount, get me in the right groove. So can't make a tired me more like awake, but it can make me awake me more awake, if that makes sense. I don't have a great, I hope you get what I'm saying. I don't know how to explain things like that. The other thing is I have to have a full stomach, or I can't be starving at the very least. If I wake up and drink coffee before I eat breakfast, that's fine. But I can't be like starving and then drink coffee, because then it's going to like go I don't know how, again, I don't know the chemicals. I don't know the science. I was going to say, then it goes straight into my blood, goes straight into my bloodstream. And now I'm like, I don't know. It's much more effective. The caffeine is much more effective when I'm starving. And it happens really quick too. I don't know the science behind that. But all I know is I need to be not starving. The other thing is I need to pace myself. When I wake up or something and I want to drink a coffee, to prevent that big spike and have it all hit me at once like that, I need to drink it very, make it steady. Drink it slow and steady versus just guzzle one of those Dunkin' things in the morning on an completely empty stomach with 0 hours of sleep and expect myself to be fine. Like, I got to treat my body better than that. I know what my body can and can't take. So the reality is, and I kind of knew, going back to that story a little bit, I kind of knew beforehand as I was drinking it. I'm like, should I be doing this right now? And I did it anyways because I was like, oh, I'll be fine. The reality is something like that is a physical change that's happening in your body when you take caffeine, when you consume caffeine. So like, I should have known, and I did know, really. I just did it anyways. And so after that, I realized, okay, to make these things not happen, I got to treat my body right, and I got to be more careful with this kind of thing. So that's kind of the stage where I am now. I'm trying to drink it in moderation, while also not avoiding it altogether, because I think coffee is literally something that I enjoy. And I remember talking to friends about this after that happened. We had a conversation about, stopping drinking coffee altogether, or only drinking decaf. At that point, if I'm only drinking decaf, it's not really the same. You know what I mean? Like, I might as well just not at all for that. I'm not a decaf guy. I used to try to, but like, it doesn't taste the same. I'm like, might as well just not. So I was telling my friends, like, and we were having conversations about, I'm just going to quit drinking coffee. I have to, I can't handle it. And they're like, well, it's something you like. You like coffee. So why would you just stop all of it if you can find perhaps another way around it or some workarounds for it? I wouldn't want to make it. I remember a good friend of mine specifically saying to me, I wouldn't want you to have to stop doing something that you like, like you like it. So that's what made me kind of figure out the compromises I have to make. And since that whole event happened, I've started drinking more and more and more, which isn't necessarily good. So I'm getting to a point now where, just a few weeks ago, I was drinking even like I would have 2 coffees a day, 1 in the morning when I wake up. And then like I'd go to Dunkin's like halfway through the day in the afternoon, and it would get me up for the latter half of the day. But then I was having trouble falling asleep, and I was up until like 2 in the morning, and then the cycle would repeat. So I'm trying to just figure out the best possible relationship for me with this thing that has, such a profound impact on my physical being, which thus impacts me mentally, right? So where I am now is I'm trying to remind myself, here's my coffee again. I'm trying to remind myself to be smart and to treat my body with respect. And this goes for things even outside of just drinking caffeine, right? I'm trying to remember to just, if I'm tired, like, dude, go to sleep. A few days ago, I was having a really kind of depressive episode in a way where I was feeling awful. My body was so tired. I could barely get up. I remember I was at my parents' house. I was petting my dog, which was great. I also, by the way, abducted my dog yesterday from my parents' house. My dad knew, but my mom didn't, apparently. So I took my dog from my parents' house to my apartment here, and I had her overnight. And my mom wakes up, she's like, "Where's the dog?" And nobody told her that I took her. It was great. I loved having her here. Well, yeah, that day I was petting my dog and I was just like out of it. And, I'm realizing like, okay, treat my body with respect. I'm feeling out of it. I was going to have to go to work that night. And I was like, I can't do this. And I've never really I don't think I've ever called out of work before, honestly. And I've worked at this job for years. But I called out of work and I was like, I feel terrible. And they were like, dude, it's cool. I felt awful about it at the time, but I'm realizing like, okay, I gotta, treat my body with respect. And, yeah, that's really what it comes down to. That's the lesson I'm trying to learn here with the caffeine is just don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. And you'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Yeah. That's basically all I wanted to chat about today. If you have a relationship with caffeine, with coffee, I would love to know what it's like for you. Or maybe we expand this conversation too, for everyone. I like to end every week of Olio with kind of a question to leave you off with, to be thinking about. Maybe for you, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's weed, maybe it's, I don't know what it is. And I know it's strange to compare alcohol and weed to caffeine, but in my opinion, like in my eyes, like they all do things to your body. Like you have a physical reaction to something. There's all kind of like a drug in a way, right? Like kind of. So maybe just think about your relationship with things that you consume for pleasure that have a physical reaction to you or give you a, you know what I mean? Think about your relationship with that and kind of just dig into it a little bit. Think about how it affects you and what it might be like without it, or maybe if you need to put some stipulations on your relationship with this thing to make it healthier for you, or maybe it's something you need to cut out of your life altogether. For some people, that is the best way to go. And if I didn't enjoy coffee like I do, I would totally not be drinking caffeine. And this is the only type of caffeine I don't drink energy drinks or anything just because I don't like them, but still. Anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Olio. I really hope you enjoyed this little convo. I love telling stories and talking about this kind of thing. So if you enjoyed, make sure to come back next Tuesday. I have them every Tuesday. I have a new podcast episode. I have a few guests who I want to have on the podcast coming soon. We have a few plans. I know I said that a little while ago. I feel like I've said that like a bunch of times. But I do have some guests, I promise, at some point. So make sure to tune in on Tuesdays to see it happen. Every Tuesday is a new podcast. Every Wednesday is a new video. Every Thursday is a live stream of like a video game or a community thing where we get everyone involved and have a good time. So if you're into it or interested, just come on by any of those days. I'll be here. Yeah. And with that, thank you once again. Much love to you all. I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening. And I'll see you later. Peace.